In an article in Rolling Stone this month, Reed Sherlin, who used to work on the White House's communications team, has this great piece about the terrible and getting worse every day relationship between the Obama administration and the press corps. And there's a part that I think sums up perfectly the irony of Barack Obama's presidency. Sherlin writes, they have managed over 6 years to accomplish much of what Obama promised to do, even if accomplishing it helped speed the process of partisan breakdown. If you go back to the 2008 Democratic primary, the different candidates did not disagree all that much about what to do. They disagreed about how to get it done. Hillary Clinton's argument was that she best understood the partisan warfare that defined American politics. She had fought these battles before, and change would come through her mastery of the old way of doing politics. Obama's argument was the opposite. The partisan warfare that had come to define politics, he said, was the product of the people who knew no politics other than partisan warfare. Change would come only through creating a new politics. Recall the famous Yes We Can speech on the night Obama lost the New Hampshire Democratic primary.
Our new American majority can end the outrage of unaffordable, unavailable health care in our time. We can bring doctors and patients, workers and businesses, Democrats and Republicans together, and we can tell the drug and insurance industry that while they get a seat at the table, they don't get to buy every chair. Not this time, not now.
The two sides of Obama's promise are both right there. Obama would do what so many past presidents had failed to do. He would pass health reform, finally, and he would do it by ending the partisan divisions and the power of the moneyed interests that had broken American politics. About that, he was half right. Obama changed more than really anybody could have expected. He passed health care reform, the largest stimulus and investment package in American history, the Dodd-Frank financial reforms. He brought the Iraq war to a close. He actually did find and kill Osama bin Laden, which was kind of a big deal. But the president didn't do all this by fixing American politics. He did all this by breaking American politics even further. In 2012, 86% of Democrats approved of President Obama, but only 10% of Republicans did. That is a 76% difference. That is a huge difference. This isn't really Obama's fault. Partisanship is bigger than any one president. When the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says in 2010, as he did publicly, quote, the single most important thing we want to achieve is for President Obama to be a one-term president, it was a safe bet that bipartisan legislative cooperation would not be forthcoming. Meanwhile, special interests have as much and perhaps more power in Washington than ever. The health reform bill got done not by cutting out pharmaceutical companies and insurers, but by cutting deals with them. Dodd-Frank sure isn't beloved by banks, but it could have gone a lot further. And the Obama administration hasn't really tried to push major campaign finance reform or other ideas that would fundamentally change how Washington works. This ultimately speaks to one of the most important choices the Obama administration made. They decided it was more important to change the laws in people's lives than to change the process that made the laws in Washington. Obama has brought a lot of change to America, but he's done it by accepting and in some cases accelerating the breakdown, the partisan breakdown of American politics. Judged against the high rhetoric of the campaign, his presidency has been both an absolutely extraordinary success and a huge disappointment. To talk about this, I'm joined by Reed Sherlin, contributor to Rolling Stone and a former White House assistant press secretary in the Obama administration, and Democratic strategist Tara Dowdell. Reed, first, thank you both for being here. Reed, I admired your piece in Rolling Stone a lot. I thought it was fascinating, and I'd like to hear a little bit from you on what the process inside the Obama administration was like, how it felt inside the Obama administration.
With the sort of the hope of the campaign and that inaugural speech you were playing was that it was going to feel different when these things happened, and then it ended up not feeling that different, even though things were getting done. And I think that's why when you talk to Democrats, you hear people say things like, oh, I'm so disappointed in Obama. And you ask them, well, why? What is he not getting done that you wanted to get done? And other than immigration, there aren't great answers that they give you other than just, you know, it's just not. He turns out to be like the rest of them, or that kind of answer. And I think it has a lot to do with this, what you're suggesting, the kind of further breakdown of the politics.
Tara, is there a way it could have felt different, as Reed puts it? Is there a way that it could have not just passed laws, but also had the sort of feeling of a different, more united Washington?
Unfortunately for this president, and I worked in an administration myself in the governor's office, unfortunately for him, the Republicans seem to recognize that his strength, the reason why he was elected was that he said, we're not going to be a red America, we're not going to be a blue America, we're going to be the United States of America. He talked of uniting the country. He talked about reaching across the aisles. So how do you take away someone's greatest strength, if that is their greatest strength? You do it by not allowing that to happen. You do it by being divisive and then pointing the finger and saying, look, he's being divisive. And that's kind of, the politics of trickery. And it's something, unfortunately, that's practiced. And I think for the Obama administration, when you look at even things like infrastructure spending, since when do Republicans not support infrastructure spending? And that's been a fight. So I think he's walked into a politics that was broken, and he made the strategic decision to go about his agenda on his own. And unfortunately, I think he had no other choice. Now, I think where he could have had some better results in terms of the public understanding would have been with messaging.